In this section, we'll talk about onboarding to the Acronis Cyber Cloud and how to get started. For most of you, your systems have already been set up and a number of these steps have already been done, but it's good to know what you've been through and also what future partners you may have need to go through. When service providers set up, they are going to have access to a console, a tenant console that we call the management portal. Attached to those management portal will be a number of service consoles for every single product. For instance, our backup product will have a backup service console. If you do need to automate any of the integrations, you'll be able to go off to Settings and then the Integration tab, and you'll be able to access any of the integrations we have with existing RMM and PSA tools. When we go to set up a service provider for onboarding, the first thing they're going to do is need to sign a service provider agreement, either directly with Acronis, but more likely with a cloud distributor. The first question to be asked goes back to that question of which of the mode of delivery are you? Are you hybrid? Are you hosted? Are you service provider hosted? If you are either hybrid or service provider hosted, the very first thing you're going to need to do is acquire some of your equipment, set them up in your data center, and make sure you install all the software, storage software that you need to have on those devices before you get started. In either case, you're going to get an activation email either from Acronis directly or from your cloud distributor. It'll come from the system. Make sure you always look into your spam filters and so forth so you can find those. And then you'll be able to then, for the first time, log into the management console. That activation email will have you choose your password and username, and then you'll go on. The very first thing you'll want to do as a service provider is rebrand the user interface so that it looks like your corporate preferences, your colors, your logo, your corporate links, and so forth. The next thing you'll want to do is start adding your tenant accounts for your customers and for your resellers. One of the questions that you'll have to ask yourself, just as a matter of how you operate your business, is do you offer managed services or do you allow your customer to do self-service? If you allow your customer to do any sort of self-service within the system, you're going to have to provide an administrator account to that customer. Some of the services require you to have an administrator for the account, so you probably want to go ahead and create one for that customer anyway. But at that point, you are then ready to install the software components onto your target customers' machines and configure their service with a service plan inside of the console. You can then configure your dashboard and report so you can keep an eye on anything. Make sure you also configure any security settings, including enabling two-factor authentication. And then you're going to want to monitor your usage for any abuse issues you might have. And of course, most importantly, you need to bill your customers. When you do come in and sign up for your account, the very first thing that's going to happen is an activation email is going to go out to you. When you receive that activation email, you click on Activate Account, and then it will allow you to choose a new password for that administrator account. After setting the password, you will then be redirected into the management portal. Note, the first time you always go through will be from that activation email, but all subsequent logins are going to be made from cloud.acronis.com.